Good morning, welcome to Dronfield Baptist Church. My name's Andy Evers. I'm the Families, Youth and Children's Ministry Leader here at the church, and it's our all-age service, so you get me. So welcome, it's lovely to have you here. As you probably know, for the past month or so, we've been trying to pare down these online services. We're soon to have all the streaming stuff placed in at church, so we'll be streaming the services live, so there'll be no need to pre-record. Few notices. Firstly, filling station. It was a real success this past Sunday. I'm looking around my desk with a bit of paper and it's now disappeared or fallen off. It was a real success on Saturday night. We'd love for more of you to come along. The next day, I think, is the third Saturday next month. So please type in filling station Sheffield and all the details will be there. It'd be great to see you, or get in touch with me. There's a few cars that'll be going over from Dronfield, so we can give you a lift over to door for that. Cafe Church kicks off a week on, no, in fact next Sunday, so the fourth Sunday of the month. Cafe Church is on in the afternoon, cafe style. It's going to be great, new thing we're doing. Andy will be leading it with Gilly, so please come along to that. And finally, I'm desperate for a few team members to join Creche. If you can, please see Margaret Keane. We need a few people just to bolster there. And also J3 on a Wednesday. I'm still looking for one or two more people. We're pretty tight. We only just got through it this week. It was really tight leaders. So one or two other people you can do Wednesdays 3:30 till 5 would be great. Please get in touch. We've got a few songs, but unfortunately we can't get them all on. So I think we should be able to play Come Now Is the Time to Worship. That'll be on next. But then in church, we'll be singing Strength Will Rise and My Lighthouse. If I can find versions that we can legally play, I'll add them on now. If I can't, then please search for some songs yourself, either on YouTube, search for Come Now Is the Time to Worship, Strength Will Rise, Everlasting God, or My Lighthouse. Or go and choose some worship songs that you'd like to engage with yourself. I'll see you after these songs.
Strength will rise as we wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. Strength will rise as we wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the God. You reign forever. The hope of strong deliverance. You are the everlasting God. The everlasting God. You do not faint. You won't grow weary. You're the defender of the weak. You comfort those in need. You lift us up on wings like eagles. Strength will rise as we wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. Strength will rise as we wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord our God. You reign forever. A hope, a strong deliverer. You are the everlasting God. The everlasting God. You do not faint. You won't grow You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence you won't let go. In the questions your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I would trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and sing. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I would trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. Far before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. Far before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. Far before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I would trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore.
So in church on Sunday morning, now at this point we're going to be building sandcastles and using Jenga bricks to build things on sandcastles, and also build towers on bricks, and then throw water at the sandcastles and see what happens, because we're talking about the wise and foolish builders. So Matthew 7 verse 24, it says, "Therefore everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house, and it fell with a great crash." So that's the reading we've had, and at this point in the service we will be singing the song "The Wise Man Built His House Upon the Rocks." New one for me. I'm sure I must have heard it. I mentioned it to Becca, my wife, who leads worship. She was like, "You've got to do this song." And I was like, "I've never heard it." So, but you guys no doubt have been brought up in church. You know it. If you have not been brought up in church, then get on YouTube, search for The Wise Man Built His House Upon the Rock. It's all about rain coming down and floods coming up, and I've learnt the actions and I've learnt the song, and we're gonna sing it in church. Again, I can't play it due to copyright. Soon we will have this solved so you can just see the service live, which will be much, much better. So please go and search for it, or don't bother if you don't want to sing it, or just sing it if you know it anyhow. And I'll be back with a bit of a talk in a minute. Cheers. My title for this morning is, what is your foundation? Just read that bit in Matthew chapter 7 about the wise and foolish builder, and it got me thinking about what I could talk about from that verse, from that part of the chapter. Verse 25, yet it did not fall because it had foundation on the rock. I could talk about how it talks about a foundation on the rock, and how Jesus is mentioned as the rock and the Lord is mentioned as the rock throughout the Old and the New Testament, that they are mentioned as rock, and that nod to Jesus yet again is saying who he is. Or I could link it to verse 24. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice like a wise man who built his house on the rock. What words? Well, the words from the whole of chapter 5, chapter 6, and most of chapter 7. We pick up chapter 7 at the end. What's gone on in the past 2 chapters? Well, Jesus has given the Sermon on the Mount. He's climbed up the mountain and spoken to these people about loads of things. Grab your Bibles, go back to chapter 5, chapter 6, and all of chapter 7. Just even read the headings. Jesus covers tons of stuff here. And he makes the point that if we build our lives on what he said, then we are wise. And he's right. But for me, there's something else that has been resonating for a while. Bethel Music, Pat Barrett wrote a song with Matt Redman and I think with Chris Tomlin called Build My Life. It came out 2018 it came out. And it's been a song that I've been singing lots at home during COVID, singing it through lots and lots. I love it. And it has a verse at the end. You feel free to pause me and go and look for it. We are going to sing it at the end of the service, but again, copyright reasons, can't play it on this video, sorry. But it says, I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and it will not be shaken. And last Saturday at Filling Station, we sung it there. And then last Sunday, we definitely sung it at the 4:00 service, and we sung it at Embrace. Not sure if we sung it at the morning service, but it's a song that we've been singing lots, and I just really engage with that. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. And it got me thinking, do I really build my life on Jesus? Should I? Do I? Do I build my life on him? Is Jesus my foundation? And growing up on the south coast in Brighton and Eastbourne, along the south coast, if you go down to Brighton or Eastbourne, there are lots of there are statues on the prom, and in Eastbourne there's big green parks, and actually in Brighton and in Hove there's a greens near the seafront, and they've got these big statues, and these statues stand on plinths, so they're raised up, and often on the plinth there's an inscription. And I remember growing up on the south coast and going down to the beach when there was a major storm, and the waves are literally coming over the seawall, and we are getting soaked, and big storms. And as kids, we used to go down there and play with these waves that were coming over and could have swept us off and down onto the beach and out, like really sillily dangerous. I wouldn't allow my boys to do it, but daft kids used to go and do it. But these statues are still there. They never get washed away. They never get broken. Like we see in the story, the man who builds a house on the sand gets washed away. As we will have done in church this morning, building sandcastles and then building Jenga bricks on the sandcastles. When the sand gets washed away, it all falls down. But the same as in church, when we've put bricks and we've built towers on bricks, when the water is knocked on those bricks, the foundations hold. They stay there and the towers stay there. And like those statues on the coast, those plinths aren't made of sand. They're made of marble or rock, and they stand. And those statues have been there for hundreds and hundreds of years, and they will be there for hundreds and hundreds of years. So what's your plinth? What's your foundation? What do you stand on? And me, honestly, it's Jesus, of course. I say that because, of course, we all know we should stand on Jesus. But actually, for me, there are, and I'm sure for you, there are other things that get in the way. I don't know what your priority and what you choose to stand on. What's important to you? What do you put above Jesus? Do you put your income? Do you put your family? Do you put how well your children do at school? Do you put where you're standing in society or you're standing within church? Is that really important to you? Is the type of house you live in important to you? Is it that you live in Derbyshire and not Yorkshire important to you? Is it important to you that you are from Dronfield? Is it important to you that you live in a certain part of Dronfield? I don't know. There are many things that we probably put, well, I know I put ahead of Jesus. They push Jesus off of that plinth. There is still what I stand on, my foundation, but Jesus isn't always my foundation. Other things get in the way. Is your health a thing that you hold fast and is really important to you? And all these things are important. I'm not saying that they're not. But Jesus, God, is more important. And these things, if they push Jesus out and they become our foundation, then when the storms come, when the tough times come, when the rains come and the streams rise up, then they are washed away. They are momentary, and things collapse. For me, it's my reliance on affirmation. I need to know I'm doing a good job. If I'm not doing a good job, I feel really bad. If people aren't telling me I'm doing a good job, I get all, I'm not doing well enough, I'm not good enough. That's my personal issue, and I'm working through it. And I know I've had people in the past say, Andy, you're just too honest in church. And I'm much more honest in church because it's not recorded and kept, whereas this will be. I'm honest in church because I wanna show you as church, actually, we all fall short. And we all feel rubbish about falling short, and we shouldn't. Because, yeah, in God's eyes we have, but he sent his son. It was so important to him. He sent his son to die for us. He gets in the way of that falling shortness of him. I'm looking at my notes to make sure I stay on. God is eager for us to share with him where our own problems, our own issues, what things we put ahead of him. After all, he knows already. He's eager for us to come to him with those things and to work on those things with him. I think we all agree our foundation, our plinth, whatever we stand on should be Jesus, should be God. But these other things get in the way. And to sort that out, we need to go to God. Now, going to God is all well and good just to do it yourself. But personally, I find if I go to God personally, it's just Andy and God. It's all right. It's better, though, when I share with others. I've got some guys who I can share with. I have a guy, Andy. I've had an hour with him on the phone this morning, chatting through stuff. And likewise, he does the same to me. And he chats through stuff going on in his life. I can share with him. And then we can pray together. And I find it great to have that accountability. I find it great to know that actually Andy is praying for me now. He knows I'm videoing this service and he's praying for me, and he knows I've got a meeting tonight and he said he'll be praying for me. I've got someone there who's doing it. We need to be sharing with one another what's going on. Now in church, we will have a prayer team at the end of today's service offering prayer for us to go forward and say, for us to be honest with people and go, do you know what? God isn't always my foundation. I've put my foundation in other things. And those things will be prayed through with people. And I encourage you to get in touch. Phone us here at church. Send us an email. We can be praying with you, those things. And I'm coming into land. I've got some really good mates and caught up with them a few weeks ago. And one of them had come and done the 100k walk with me. And on our last lap, we were in pain. We've been in pain for a long time. My feet, I was not a happy chappy. And I had another, probably another 7 or 8 Ks to get done. And Paul Taylor, I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this, came and dropped Becca off, who walked with us. But he gave us some food, and then he prayed with me, and he prayed with my mate who doesn't know Jesus at all. He knows I know Jesus, but he doesn't. And I talk about Jesus a lot, but Paul prayed with us both. And my mate has brought this up now on three separate occasions since. about how my mate just prayed and it was just totally natural and it felt normal. And it was like, well, yeah, it is. I've been saying this for years. But it's when someone else has gone and prayed with them that they suddenly go, oh, right, okay, that's real. And another guy I've connected with was talking to me about he works in a taxi office, and the boards for some street prayers from street pastors, they keep their boards in the office for him for free. And he had said he had a bad back and they prayed for him, and he noticed a difference. And he shared with me, it was like, Andy, really, there's something there. It felt funny and my back wasn't as painful, and all the pain was gone within a day. And the doctor said it was odd because it shouldn't have healed that quickly. So there's got to be something in there. And we had really big, deep chats around for about 2 hours, quite a really good chat. And it was like, come on, Lord, thank you. At last, we're getting somewhere. But one of my mates who was there said, yeah, and actually a number of them echoed, it was like, they're jealous of me because of my faith. And they were like, we just wish we had a faith like yours, something to fall back on. And I don't know if you've ever heard anyone say to you about how your faith is something to fall back on. And I sat there and went, oh, yeah, and carried on. And I shouldn't have. I should have gone more and hold up. Jesus is not there to be fallen back on to. He's not there. Those statues are on the plinth. Those statues are not stood next to the plinth. That when the storm comes and hits the south coast, the statue of Queen Victoria doesn't lean back onto the plinth. No, the statue is on the plinth. Jesus is not there as a fallback. God is not there as someone to lean on in tough times. No, he is there to be stood on continually. He's still there for us to be on and be with and to have as our foundation permanently, not occasionally in the storms when it's tough. He wants to be there with us the whole time. And I know we will all fail at building our life on him. We will go with the greatest aims too, but life will get in the way and other things will get in. And we will end up replacing some of that, what we stand on, our foundation. Jesus will be pushed out and it'll be replaced with other things. But my prayer is that we recognize that we can see that and we can put that right. That we can go back to Jesus and apologize for those things pushing in the way and pushing him out. And instead we put him back in his rightful place. We build our lives on him. Everything else is there, of course, but the focus and our foundation is Jesus. We're going to sing the song Build Your Life. As I've said, I can't put it on, but please pause me and go and search for it. It's called Build Your Life. If you type in Build Your Life by Bethel Music, it will come up. This morning's service is going to end there. I pray you have a good week. Please be in touch. Please speak with others. Find people to pray with. It's far easier knowing that someone else has got you. Yes, Jesus has got us. God has got us. But it's good to have mates to pray with and to pray together. If you've got no one, get in touch. I'll be well up for praying with you, as I'm sure many, many others at our church will be. So have a good week, and I'll see you soon. God bless. Bye.
Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, a name above every other name. Jesus, the only one that could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. Yes, I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. Oh,